Hello and welcome to another Rob Shaz Travels video.
Today's not one of our usual beach tropical holidays. This one is a historical adventure.
This place is known the world over, but how did Angkor Wat go from one of the biggest cities in the world to become forgotten and abandoned, and then rediscovered again to become one of the world's biggest tourist attractions?
After Angkor Wat was rediscovered, it is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the 8th wonder of the world.
We're going to explore the history of how this place became the world's biggest religious monument, then to how it was left in abandoned ruins. So join us today as we take a look through history. But to get there, we have to go right back to the beginning.
The Angkor Archeological Park near Siem Reap in Cambodia is spread out over approximately 400 square kilometres and is one of the most famous religious historical sites in the world.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Chaz.
This morning we are in a tuk-tuk in Siem Reap and we are off to Bakong Temple.
Looking forward to it.
Very much. It's a beautiful day today too.
Magnificent.
The area is mostly known for, and probably justifiably so, the magnificent Angkor Wat. But there is a lot more to this story than that one, albeit amazing, temple.
Around 300 years before Angkor Wat was built, the first Khmer king was King Jayavarman II. And in around 800 AD, he established the capital city in the area, known as Hari Haralaya, just east of Siem Reap and around 14 kilometres from Angkor Wat. History may be disputed, unless we were there of course, but the first temple built in this area was by King Jayavarman II's third successor and believed to be his nephew. He was King Indravarman I. The temple was built as a monument to his family and Shiva, the Hindu god. This is Preah Ko.
Preah Ko in Khmer translates to sacred bull and believed to be in part dedicated to Nandi, the white bull, who serves the Mount of Shiva.
King Jayavarman II declared himself the king of the then Cambodia, and through a ceremony in 802 AD, named himself Deva Raja, which translates to the God King, and this monument was unveiled in 879 AD and dedicated in part to his memory.
So the German Apsara Conservation Project is trying to restore some of these beautiful temples that are unfortunately decaying just because of age. We'll try and make it look as beautiful as what it is here, but definitely highly recommend that you come and enjoy this magnificent temple yourself. Some of it, as you can see, unfortunately, cannot be restored. But they're doing a magnificent job. I think that one down the end will be next. This one's not too bad. Incredible though.
A very short tuk-tuk drive down the road and we're at our next temple.
Bakong Temple. Way out the back there. Oh, that's the moat behind the wall.
Yeah, so it's quite wide.
Quite wide, but it's wider than it is deep.
That's right.
Isn't it beautiful already?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the second temple to be built in this area and is built as a tribute to the Hindu god Shiva. It's also the first of the Khmer's temples to be built in the pyramid style. This is Bakong Wat.
This is the first time the Naga or the serpent has been used in the Khmer history.
The complex here at Bakong Temple is surrounded by a moat all the way around, and that moat is actually quite wide. It's about 70 or 80 metres wide.
I'm not sure why people with such little legs build such big steps.
The temple Bakong was built around 881 and was constructed under the guidance and instruction from King Jayavarman I.
The central tower here is not actually part of the original construction. This was built around 200 to 300 years later, around about the same time that Angkor Wat was built. Nobody actually really knows what the original central tower looked like.
Bakong Temple is 1,143 years old.
It's incredible we're standing on something that old, isn't it? It's pretty cool to see that reconstructive archaeological work is still going on to resurrect this park to its former glory. View out to the east entrance to the park.
So I wonder what these were actually used for. Do you think they were to light up the temple? Maybe they put some kind of candle in here?
Quite
knows?
possibly. Blows me away that this is 300 years before Angkor Wat.
Oh, correct, yes.
That's unreal.
Yeah. 881?
881, yeah. After our first day exploring the Angkor Archeological Park, it was time to head back. And because the park is so big, you will need a way to get around. And for 2 of our 3 days here, we chose a tuk-tuk, and our driver, Sarith, was great. I'd like to thank Sarith. He's been an excellent tuk-tuk driver for us today. We've had a great morning out checking out the temples. If you are in Siem Reap, check him out. We're going to give you his WhatsApp. He's got a great tuk-tuk and he's an excellent fella. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Agun.
Agun. Agun.
Coming up soon though, we are going to show you another way to explore the park.
We're on our way out to Angkor Wat this morning
We're going to be riding electric bikes around.
We're super excited.
Should be fun.
It should be so much fun. Oh!
It's afraid to break.
Slow, slow.
Easy.
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 Good job.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun.
This is our first view ever of the magnificent Angkor Wat. This is the west entrance across the moat to the temple. The moat around Angkor Wat is around 200 metres wide. We've chosen to hire the electric bikes just as an alternative way to get around the complex and for a bit of fun. So far so good. $12 for the day. Battery's supposed to last us all day, so let's hope that works out. Just behind me here are the south gates entrance to the big city, which is Angkor Thom. It was built by King Jayavarman VII between 1181 and 1219. It can get a little bit busy here. How's this for an extraordinary way to get around the Angkor Wat complex? Beautiful.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun.
We're at the central compound for Angkor Thom. Angkor Thom became the biggest city in the Angkor area. At one stage had a population of over 1 million people. Good job. The satellite monument sits around the Terrace of the Elephants in central Angkor Thom. Everywhere you look, there's incredible archaeological ancient structures. And now we're making our way through the North Gate entrance to Angkor Thom. Another incredible structure.
So yes, we definitely highly recommend hiring an electric scooter, exploring this beautiful, beautiful place, Angkor Wat. But definitely hire an electric scooter and get yourselves around here. This is a wonderful way to do it.
These gigantic lakes that we're riding past right now are actually used as water storage reservoirs by the kings and their engineers, and that's how they set all the irrigation for maintaining the water for the city, and also for irrigating some of the rice fields during the dry seasons as well. Huge. Underneath us, we're sitting on top of a causeway, and we've got water flowing through locks and gates, so it still looks like it's being used for some sort of irrigation system. Only about 1,000 or so years old, and still going.
We're at the temple Ta Som, which was constructed under the reign of King Jayavarman VII. It was constructed in the late 12th century. Ta Som, it's absolutely incredible here.
Archaeologists have suggested that the damage done here at Temple Ta Som was actually intentional during the sacking of the city in the 1400s. Ta Som laid abandoned for centuries after the sacking in the 1400s, and as it does, nature started to reclaim the area. Some of the temples, we've been lucky enough for them to have been rebuilt and reconstructed by some fabulous organisations, and some of the temples unfortunately have not been able to be done so. In case you weren't aware, and I certainly wasn't, at some of the temples there are shops for you to be able to buy clothes and bags and scarves, and there's usually some toilets as well, and there's some restaurants down the back there for you to grab a food or some fresh coconuts, as the lady's been trying to tell me. We're on our way across to Neak Poan Temple, which is in the middle of the North Baray. The Barays are these big water reservoirs, and the only way to get there is across this bridge. Neak Poan is a floating monument in the middle of a pond, which is in the middle of an island, which is in the middle of the North Baray. While you're exploring around the Angkor World Heritage Park, you are able to stop in at a couple of restaurants. There's quite a few on the side of the road. There's some good toilet facilities as well. We've stopped in at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon because we've been exploring for a long time and decided to grab something to eat. So I picked up some rice for $5 and a drink.
Well needed.
And time for a break. And they did let us know that after lunch, if you want to have a rest, you can use the hammocks.
It's possible we might.
On our way back, we decided to have a look at Bayon Temple and Angkor Wat as the sun was getting low in the afternoon sky and it was too beautiful not to stop. We will take you through both of these magnificent sites in more detail, starting with tomorrow's sunrise.
Standing at the west gate of Angkor Wat in the afternoon sunlight is an absolutely beautiful thing to see.
Well, I reckon that was a great way to see the Angkor Wat Heritage Park. It was fantastic. We had a great time riding around on the e-bikes, and you can hire them for $12 for a day.
I think the best part about the way that we did it today on the electric bikes was that you could do it at your own pace and enjoy each temple and not feel like you have to be rushed in and out. So it was amazing. December 9th, 2024, and we're at sunrise at Angkor Wat. And we have Jupiter just through there. And beautiful Mars just up there. Look at all these beautiful people that have woken up nice and early to see the magnificent sunrise at Angkor Wat.
The star of the show is, of course, the world's biggest religious monument, Angkor Wat. And the iconic thing to do here is to rise early to see the temple's silhouette revealed against the rising morning sun.
What do you think so far?
It's incredibly beautiful. Absolutely worth getting out of bed for.
This is the Southern Library just out front of Angkor Wat. This one here, over here, is the Northern Library.
These are the gardens out to the west side of the temple where we were all waiting this morning patiently to watch the beautiful sunrise.
After sunrise, the crowd is pretty big, so we made our way around to the east gate to come back through the temple with less people.
There's thousands of these reliefs carved into the walls around the hallways of Angkor Wat, and basically what they do is they tell the story of the Khmer history. There is still a little bit of colour left in some of these, but most of the colour's worn off over the years, weather and, unfortunately, people touching.
This is Ravan, the king of the demons.
This is a depiction of the giant Yama, or the god of the dead, and he's seen riding a buffalo with his 18 arms wielding batons. This relief is a depiction of a battle between good and evil. On this end of the hallway we have the demons, and at the other end of the hallway they have the gods, and the Naga snake is the rope in between that's what they're using for the tug of war.
Angkor Wat was built around 1150 under the guidance of King Suryavarman II as a tribute to the Hindu god Vishnu, and was later to become his mausoleum. This enormous monument was built in only 30 years. It was later converted to represent Buddhism under the reign of King Jayavarman VII.
There are 5 of these big towers here, and they're designed to look like lotus buds. And they're also a representation of the 5 peaks of Mount Meru where the Hindu gods lived. It's believed that the ashes of King Suryavarman II are buried underneath the central lotus tower, which is just behind me now. view from the central tower out to the west gate.
Although most of this huge city was left abandoned after the 1400 sacking of Angkor by the Siamese, the main temple, Angkor Wat, was still tended to and worshipped at by a local community of monks, and was also a place of pilgrimage by Buddhists from many areas.
The original stairs up to the Lotus Towers. Pretty steep climb, I think. Some of the statues and carvings have been damaged over the years, some of it intentional, some of it not.
Angkor Wat, meaning holy temple or city temple, is symbolic in every way. Truly one of the greatest sculptures ever built. For 6 centuries, Angkor Wat was the capital of Cambodia. 38 kings ruled Angkor Wat. It's amazing being inside and seeing all the carvings. As you can imagine, outside the carvings are all starting to deteriorate from the weather, but inside they look spectacular.
The main temple is so very impressive, but don't forget to have a look through the libraries. They are also very intriguing.
We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, and as we make our way from the main compound, we still have a couple more stunning temples to show you.
And just in case you were wondering, yes, out the front there are facilities, and even a souvenir shop.
Only around 3 kilometres north and back into the big city of Angkor Thom, we're going to take you through Bayon Temple.
The area is still an active Buddhist centre, and these are novice monks, or samanera.
Bayon Temple is the centre of Angkor Thom, which is known as the Big City, and was built by Jayavarman VII in the 12th century. Jayavarman VII was the first of the Buddhist kings, and this is the first of the temples in the Angkor area that has been built as a monument to Buddhism. The temple here at Bayon is also known for the four-headed sculptures that surround the buildings, around the main tower, and they're believed to be dedicated to the Hindu god Brahma. One of the things about Buddhism is that they have accepted all other types of religion as well as their own. According to an ancient inscription, Bayon was originally known, or also known, as Chaikiri, which means triumphant mountain.
Bayon was the last of the central state temples to be built in the Angkor area, and while it was common for each king to build their own state temple, after Jayavarman VII, his successors preferred to make additions to Bayon than build their own.
There are 3 layers to the Bayon Temple, ground, second and third floor. The third level is closed for restoration because a lot of the brickwork's just falling all over the place, so it's a bit hazardous up there, so they've closed it down until they can rebuild it all. So these are the guys that are doing the restoration, trying to put all of the fallen pieces back together. So measuring them and figuring out where they all go, so it's like a big jigsaw puzzle. Big jigsaw puzzle. And all of that's got to go all the way back up there. It's going to look incredible in a couple of years when they get all of that wall pulled back up. And more jigsaw puzzle. That's going to take some serious efforts.
There's still quite a bit of work to go to fully restore this temple, but it looks like a lot of the parts are still here.
These guys were having a great old time messing around. The Angkor area has too many temples for us to see, even in the 3 days we had taken to explore the park and to fit into this video. But right across from Bayon is Bakong Temple. Bakong is actually believed to be older than Bayon, possibly built around 1010 to 1050 AD. It was originally dedicated to Shiva, the Hindu god, and is sometimes referred to as the Golden Mountain.
Just a short walk and you will find yourself at Elephant Terrace, another magnificent structure with life-size carvings of elephants supporting a platform believed to be where the royal family and their cohort would sit and watch sporting competitions and possibly even elephant jousting.
So the lotus,
Yeah, it's a lotus.
and then the elephant trunk.
The elephant trunk, yeah.
And who's on the top?
And the top is the god.
It's a god.
Yeah. It's nice. And we can go up to see the face of Buddha.
Awesome. Let's go see the face of Buddha.
This is one of the many famous sites in the park where you can get your photo taken.
Next to Angkor Wat, probably the most well-known of the temples in the park, I would have thought. Thanks to Hollywood and Angelina.
The 2001 movie Tomb Raider used Ta Som as a set, and this promoted the Angkor Park in the world as a tourism destination. In around 1431, the Angkor city was sacked by the Thais, and this made the city too difficult to defend and to maintain with its complex irrigation systems. It soon started to fall into disrepair. The Khmer kings moved the capital to near modern-day Phnom Penh and left Angkor to be reclaimed in most part by the surrounding jungle, except for a small community of monks that maintained Angkor Wat.
Europeans first came to the area in the mid-1600s as Portuguese historian Diego de Cuta visited the area and wrote of his account. However, it did not become really well known until Frenchman Henri Mouhot came across the site in 1860. In the past few years, Angkor Wat has become one of the world's most famous religious sites and is visited each year by around 1 million people. There is constantly work going on to rejuvenate the area and restore many of the temples.
While we were here, we bought a 3-day pass online, and we needed every bit of that time to see what we did. If you have longer, we would possibly even recommend the 7-day pass, which means you get to see more of this amazing place. 3-day tickets are valid for 10 days from the date of purchase at a price of $62, and the 7-day tickets are available for 30 days from the date of purchase at $72. We will leave the link to the site in the description below.
Our time here at the Angkor Archeological Park has been full of wonder, a real once-in-a-lifetime experience and something we'll never forget.
Thanks for watching until the end, and if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next Rob Shaz Travels adventure. Bye for now.